Mic check. Tilt it up there, right? Make sure y'all can hear me good. And not hear a fan real bad. What's up? Denny O'Fools, Matt HMM. What's up, Someway? Todd Turner. Mike Good and no horrible fan noise. What's up, Lexi? I saw y'all talking about the temperature. It's a nice 91 degrees in here. So y'all have the little crown things on there today. So maybe it just didn't start on mine yet. See, like I said, I got the email the night before the whatever the live was that I talked about that last time. Hey, Wacky. So I had one question that I'm not really sure what they're asking. So I'm going to post it on here and then show the tool. I don't know exactly for sure. And then I got an update from Scott over at Nohlster about the slim Nohlsters. He sent me an email about when they're going on sale, and then also some clarifications based on some of the stuff that I was saying. So I'll go over that too. You had the crowns on Tuesday. Okay. I didn't pay any attention. I wasn't watching the chat as close on Tuesday because I was paying attention to what I was doing. So it might have been on there on Tuesday. So now y'all got to see who can be number one by the end of it. So the one question I had was, let me pull it up real fast. It's on the Klein 9-in-1 pass-through. I'm not real sure what he's asking, so that's why I'm going to show it to y'all too and see if y'all understand it different than me. Let me bring it around there. So about the 9-in-1, Steve G7000 said, is it actually possible to lock all four sections together? I have found no arrangement where you aren't relying on magnetism to hold one of the sections in place rather than interlocking bearings. And I'm not real sure what he's talking about because I don't have any of mine that interlock with magnets. They all what I do with the... So, you have magnets inside of all these, or not really all of them, really just some of the smaller ones actually. But every place where they interlock, there's a small bearing in there. And I don't have any of them none of mine get locked together by magnets. The only thing I could think is if he's talking about he's doing like that or something. But any of them, how they're supposed to lock together, they all lock together. This one's always hard to get out. They're always locked together with that little bearing inside of there. So I'm not sure. Maybe y'all can read that question. Y'all can understand what he's asking that I'm missing type thing. Maybe he wants a certain size and doesn't take it apart. Yeah, like I said, there are situations where like I could, like the 7/16 has a battery. Like I guess you could do that. It's not really locked in there at all though, so I don't know how you'd go about using it. Clint's got his coffee. Should be bearings, Wacky said. The new one is magnetic. Certain sizes are. There's certain ones inside of there that have magnets. It's not all of them, but certain ones have a little magnet down on it. Like there's the 7/16. It's got a magnet. So let me pull up the Nohlster email real fast. So Scott, his name's Scott Daniels. I think he's a CEO. Let me see. Let me look down here. Founder and CEO of Nohlster. So he's the one I've been talking back and forth with. He said that he met with his webmaster on the SubCompact clips, and they will be available on their website. So that's what I said in the last live. You're going to have to get the SubCompact at Nohlster.com by Wednesday, July the 23rd. So Wednesday, July the 23rd. He said each clip will come with the same screw and adapter kit. So you'll get the M12 adapter kit for Gen 2 and Gen 3. He's got rid of all the Gen 1 stuff because he said nobody really needs those anymore. So it's getting phased out. So with the SubCompact clip, you will get, it's hard to say, SubCompact clip, you will get the adapter kit for the M12 stuff as the same stuff that you get with the original clip, basically, when you buy it. He said he's also going to include the same screws he sent me for the tape measure. So there was a little bag with about 4 or 5 screws. And then he said also an updated 3D printed universal measuring tape adapter. So he's going to have those too. So the same adapter I had, except the adapter he sent me, it was a prototype. So it's going to look better, basically. He said there'll be a better version of it that you guys, a more finished version of it. He's going to offer multi-packs and singles. Let's see. He also talked about a discount code, so I'll probably make a post about this, but in case you're planning on going to get it, Morgan's, MORGANS 20, will get you 20% off and free shipping in the USA with anything over a $35 order. So that will be the case. Like I said, I'll make a post about that when it's closer to the Wednesday. But he did say on these, the packaging is going to, just so he can get them out faster, the packaging is going to be pretty basic. Like, it's not going to be like in their same Nohlster printed packaging and all that kind of stuff. They're working on all that kind of stuff. But you will get basic packaging. You'll get the clip, the mounting instructions, Nohlster stickers, and an invitation to register the clip for the limited lifetime warranty. So I think that's pretty much it. Let me skip back to the thing. So the one thing, he sent me something else too, though. Let me go back. I think I remember everything else he said. So the colors, I mentioned in the last live about the colors. They're not going to be like a different color, like how this one's black. You know, it's not going to be like a blue one where this one's black. But basically, the Nohlster logo on here is blue. I think he said they were going to do silver on the SubCompact or something, just so you know the difference between the two. So it's not that they're going to be like a total different color. They're still going to be black. And then the other thing that I know that I didn't mention in the last live was about the original version. It has that extra gap right there compared to the SubCompact is slim. There's the original with that gap. One reason for the original would be that bit holder we talked about, but then the other thing is too, and I didn't remember it because I don't carry mine on my M18 stuff that often, but you have to have the original for M18 to go around like the batteries, because this is a high output here. So you'd have to have the original. The SubCompact wouldn't work, which again, I couldn't remember. I didn't remember that till he mentioned it. So I think that's all I had on the Nohlster stuff. But if y'all got any other questions, you can let me know. Let me pull back up my chat. All right. Let me get this to where I'm looking a little bit forward. What's up, Mac Bergson? as his shirt ripples in the fan. TPG missed the pregame. That's why you don't have a crown next to you. You're going to have to step it up. Is there a limited amount as was previously stated, or is he expected to be able to meet demand? He said it. I think he kind of mentioned that it would be a. I think he's just saying it in a way that they're not going to have just unlimited of them, but I'd say you got a pretty good shot at getting them the way that it was worded to me, but it will be like a smaller amount that they've got just because that's all they've got ready right now. They're still working on packaging and all that kind of stuff. And then he did say they're going to offer multi-packs and stuff like that, which makes me think, that they probably would have more. Same way as they offer their other one. You can buy one for X amount, 3 for X amount, and also some other 5, I think. 5 is always what I bought. "24 people hit the like button." Let's see. Almost done doing the rewire in my house. Backwoods Law. Now I got the box jaw Romex strippers from Southwire. Only have 4 boxes left. You get commission from Nohlster Morgan's Maintenance. They offer. I won't take it though. That he offered even this last time he said anything, but I just let him keep it. It's not worth it to me in a sense to mess with the tax stuff of it all and all that kind of stuff. Now, if you buy something off of Amazon's really the only thing I mess with, and that's just because it's easy because there's so much stuff there, and that's where I buy a lot of my stuff. So that's why I still do that one. But Amazon's the only thing I'm actually an affiliate with. And then if you use the shop button, like I can put Lowe's and Home Depot and stuff like that in the shop button, and that's basically a affiliate for YouTube, and then YouTube gives me some if you guys use those links. But I mean, Nohlster's been pretty good. They've sent me, like, whenever I first made my first video, they sent me several Nohlsters for free and stuff like that. And it's like, if a company does that, it's like, I'm not going to sit there and ask for a small percent or something like that. But he's super nice every time I've talked to him too. I like working. Like, I'll work for somebody who I can tell is running a business that wants to do something good, and it's not like just a big money thing and all that kind of stuff. I don't collect packaging, so it'll be good. Yeah, I'll make sure and put a post about it too because some people might not see the live. So I think the 23rd, what is that, on Wednesday or something like that next week? That's the date he told me. Whack, you might buy one. I've been dropping my tape and thought about the Tuesdays live. I'm again. You might get it and not like it on a tape measure. Some people love one thing and then other people hate that same exact thing. But I'm telling you right now, I won't have a tape measure that I use on an everyday basis where I'm not just coming in here and just grabbing one to do something real fast. But if I'm gonna actually use it working, it's gonna have one of those on it. What's up, Kearney Creek Farm? Matt said he's got some good videos. So go check out Kearney Creek Farms channel. With the 20% discount, I expect to buy quite a few. Yeah, I'll probably get at least a 5-pack of them, if not more than that. But for sure, I'll get 5 of them. What's up, Steve? TPG's going to eat. Pays me in clips. See, I'm fine with that. I'd rather be paid in clips than paid in. I'm gonna end up turning around spending my money on clips anyways. I think I'm almost caught up. Which I didn't even. I opened this up. I had to charge my iPad before I came out here, and I opened it up and I scrolled through the pregame, and it was like 10 scrolls deep, and I'm like, I'm not even gonna go back and look at that. So I don't know what you guys talked about during the pregame. I didn't read any of it. So finally finished the quadplex today. They're doing like a groundbreaking next Friday or something like that, or ribbon cutting or whatever it is, but we don't have the occupancy yet because they're waiting on the customers actually getting all the signage for the house and the door and the like each apartment and all that, and they won't give you the final in my area unless you have the signage and stuff like that up. But I'm finally done with that job though, like don't have to go there, other than there are 2 exterior doors that had some issues that we found, and they're supposed to be sending us new slabs. When we get them in, we got to go change them out. But so that's finally done. Went and installed a bidet for the first time today. So I put in a bidet for the first time. They're not real big in my area. They might be big in your area, but I put in a bidet today. And then I went and hung some stuff on some walls. Went to somebody's house and put in they had a fluorescent light in their closet that just had the wire coming into the fluorescent light, and they wanted a box to be able to put up a regular type light. So did that. And then I'm going to put together another metal shed tomorrow. Oh no, the job is over and the SDS review never came. I know it. I never did really do anything with it for concrete, but I've got concrete. I actually need to get out here and get some footage. I've got footage of the SDS drill, of me drilling holes and stuff for tap cons on some job I did. I hope I still got it. I think I saved it on my computer. But I've got some stuff out here that I'm going to get my chisels out one day and hammer on it. I'll be able to start moving into working on this more. For one, my plumber who was going to dig my footers, who ended up being in the hospital, was crazy bad sick from a tick bite. He's okay now. He's back at home, which is pretty rough for a while. But his son's supposed to come out here next week and dig my footers for me. So that's what I've been waiting on it. I haven't really done anything. I've been waiting for that. I rented an SDS Max to put ground rods in. It made it easy peasy lemon squeezy. Yeah, they've got a SDS like even bit just for that. I don't have to do that I don't have that bit. I saw somebody the other day and I thought it was a pretty good idea, and I may end up trying it on this because I'll be filling my block. You know, you have the concrete vibrators and stuff like that, but I saw a guy taking a piece of rebar and just sticking it down in the concrete and taking his SDS with a chisel or whatever in it, just sitting there hammering on the rebar with it, and it was basically acting like a vibrator. Matt runs into 70s houses where they think junction boxes were optional. Yeah, a lot of times on closet lights and above the vanity lights, oftentimes those aren't in boxes. They're just a wire poked out of the wall. Abraham said some ticks can really mess you up. Hope he's doing better. Yeah, I mean, he was, bad shape. Like, I wasn't sure he was going to make it or not. He's pretty bad. Clint got most of his dents out of his Klein thermos. Yeah, Clint bought him a Klein thermos like what I've got back there. I told him, I said, I think mine had 1 dent in it whenever I bought it, and I had to get it out. You can still see it a little bit. I haven't got it out all the way, but that one didn't bother me, so I haven't messed with getting it out. I just turn it around to the back side. You just got to have one good side, and then the rest of it's dented like all get out. It's very hard to find one on eBay that doesn't have dents in the. And if you do find one, it was more expensive. Miss Maintenance said you were offered a vibrator to review for free. Yeah, so I tell y'all all the time, I get some crazy stuff sent to me in my emails. Hey, will you make a video for this? And I got one the other day that was big and purple and vibrates. So I sent it to Miss Maintenance and asked her if I needed to get it. She said no. Jamie True said he hits his flat work forms with SDS every time. Yeah, I had never even really thought about doing that, to be honest with you. I mean, I've always went around and you tap it with a hammer and you do all that kind of stuff. But I saw that guy doing it with rebar, and I thought, you know what? That's actually a very good idea. Big purple pounder. I can't remember what the name of it was. If I had my phone, I'd pull it up. Well, actually, let me see. I might can pull up the text if it sent iMessage. It was the thruster. It was the big purple thruster was what it was called. But that's, I mean, it blows my mind that you get sent stuff like that. And what's always funny is, like, I mean, I've got stuff for a baby carrier, all sorts of stuff for animals and stuff like that. And the very first thing it says at the top of all the emails is, "Oh, we absolutely love your channel and we think you're a perfect fit." After using the hammer function for my hammer drill for so long, the SDS makes light work of concrete or block drilling. Yeah, for drilling, like I will get out my M18 hammer drill, and I didn't bring that one in here. I'll get that out, like if it's brick, like a very easy to drill brick, or block that's hollow, if it's right there readily available for me. But even then, I'll still get out my SDS if I'm going to do very much of it. But like if I'm just going to drill, I just went and put a Ring doorbell in today and had to drill, 2 holes in some brick. And my hammer drill is real easy to get to, and it was really easy brick, so I just get it out for that. But yeah, as far as if you're going to drill very much for tap cons and stuff like that, SDS, especially the M12, is super nice. Wacky's looking for a battery-powered SDS Max. Yeah, I've got an old Milwaukee SDS Max, and it's got the spline instead of like the other. It's old, and I got it out last time I got it out was to drill a 4-inch hole, I think, in through some brick because I was running something through. But it was like crazy, crazy cold, and bunch of other stuff was going on outside, and it kind of quit on me. I think it needs new brushes. It's super old, but I probably need to, like, if once I go to replace it, I haven't decided because it's not something I use very often. It's kind of one of them tools that's in between where I'd like to have a battery powered one because I'd like to not have to mess with the cord, but it's a tool that if I buy another corded one, it will probably last me the rest of my life for how much I'm going to use it type thing, versus if I buy a battery powered one and then Milwaukee changes their batteries or, whatever else, you're always going to be stuck buying expensive batteries for something that I don't use very often. And then also sometimes with those things, if you're going to drill for quite an extensive period of time, I'm sure it probably eats the batteries up like crazy. I've not ever used like a SDS Max battery powered one. SDS Plus, I think, is the biggest I've used. Big purple thruster. We're not coming back from this. Tony Carrasio, not sure what anyone else's thoughts are, but I have been using the Klein Impact Ratchet 11-1. Loved it, but have just recently replaced it in an effort to lighten my bag vessel ball grip. Yeah, the vessel ball grip is that's my go-to, just normal screwdrivers. I carry the Klein multi ones in my like 90%er bag and stuff just because more bang for my buck for the space, but I actually prefer using screwdrivers out of a pouch, and if I know what screwdrivers I'm going to use, I prefer using the vessel ball grips. Get a Beaver cordless one, they'll send you an SDS Max for free. I had actually thought about getting a Beaver one whenever mine, I finished that job with it, but I could tell it was starting to kaput. You know, I don't think it's going to make it very much longer. Makita corded one with the blue case, but purple shaft actually was old, made in Japan. Does Milwaukee have an M12 or M18 power inverter that can handle corded tools? Not that well. I think they got like the MX thing, but I don't know if they got an M18 or M12 thing. I think maybe that real big thing, they got like a generator type thing where you put a bunch of those MX batteries in, but I don't know about M18. I'm trying to drink all my water before it gets hot. Abraham Perez said he saw the patents too, Lexi. Yeah, I think is it the Dorsum tool reviews or something like that? I think I didn't watch the video from this year, but every year I think he kind of does that. I did see the thumbnail the other day, but I haven't watched it. I saw like the thumbnail looked like it had a car jack, maybe something else on the thumbnail. Water's near you, it's already hot. Yeah, water's hot. Stud finder's going off like crazy around here. I could have swore I had something else I was going to mention, and I don't remember what it is. I'm wondering if the M12 Surge and the installation driver both, like they've been putting them on sale a lot lately in the deals of the day and pro deals of the week on Home Depot, like mixing them up with other stuff. I'm hoping maybe they're going to come out with a new Surge, but next week is pipeline. I'm not sure. I never keep up with it. I just wait till I start seeing some videos. Those M12 kits are always on sale. Yeah, but here lately, like it's been a while since they started putting the Surge in the mix. Like here in the last little bit, like they would do it every now and then, but here in the last little bit, the Surge has been in there like every time they've had a deal going on, whether it was the day or the week one, it's in there every time. Maybe that's just my brain hoping that means they're trying to get rid of the old stock. Is there an M12 deal right now? Because that could be why. If something's on sale, it typically pops up in the deal of the day or a week more. Yeah, I don't know if I know what you're saying. Is it on sale in the store too? I I'm not real sure. My store never puts that kind of stuff, like signs up real big or anything. Like you have to almost find it online and then go in the store and get it. They don't have anything out like in a special thing. I was walking around there just the other day. Some way still liking this 2-drawer mod box. Tool Show is doing a live next Wednesday for Pipeline. Tool Show is doing a live next Wednesday for Pipeline. Milwaukee rep told me next quarter sales will be M12 tools and batteries, Elliott said. Yeah, I don't know what else they would come out. I haven't even seen any. Like, I don't know if something I'd be looking for at Pipeline, like other than the Surge or maybe a new installation driver, just because mine are getting older, and just see what they come out with. But I probably will need a siding nailer or a coil nailer. I know Milwaukee has the roofing one, I think it is, but I don't know if they got one for siding. Do they already have a siding nailer, Milwaukee? Because I'm probably going to need one before. I'm going to debate whether or not I'm going to buy, whenever I'm doing this garage, buy a siding nailer that's Milwaukee, or just buy me an air-powered one, knowing that I'm probably not going to use it a crazy ton, and then just use my air compressor. But like he said, they got a siding nailer. I was thinking they just came out with one. I couldn't remember if it was a roofing nailer or a siding nailer, or if those two. Sometimes those two aren't compatible. Like one of them shoots a little bit different nail and stuff. The Milwaukee's only 1 3/4 inches. Yeah, because I'm probably going to put up zip sheathing walls and the roof. And then I'm going to do probably LP smart side, probably vertical panels. I haven't decided on that 100% yet, but I think that's what I'm going to be doing. Some way maybe you'll get a Makita for nailing siding. No, not if it's a battery powered one. I won't, because I don't want to mess with the extra batteries. Although I could open myself up with the battery adapters and buy a Makita to Milwaukee battery adapter, and then you can do the 2-inch in your framing nailer. And that's the other thing I thought about doing, is just getting the framing nailer, use it for frame, and then use smaller nails whenever I go to the siding. Wacky said I'd go Metabo for nailers. Yeah, I like my Metabo nailers. I actually had picked up their framing nailer the last time I was in there. It was on sale, but it's not now. It seemed like it was a little bit lighter than the Milwaukee one. Yeah, I've got pictures of the quadplex done, and I meant to move them from my phone to here so I could show them to you, but I forgot to. And I know if I go up there and mess with my phone to airdrop something or do whatever, it's going to mess up. I did get a new tool in the mail from Clint Cole, who's in here. Let's see where he is on the number one fan, number one crown right now. So Clint sent me the Craftsman ball grip driver. I got that in the mail. He found it on eBay. So I don't know how many of y'all. It looks just like a Vessel to me. So it's got to be made by Vessel for Craftsman, because it's made in Japan. You see made in Japan right there. So now we got a different color ball to add to the mix. I've also got something coming from Klein that I'm super duper excited about, and I don't even know what it is. I've not seen it or anything, just based on the description that I'm waiting for. So it came with a Phillips 1/3, so that's pretty neat. The fact that it's got a Phillips 1 and then also a Phillips 3 on that same end, and then a Phillips 2 right there. I hadn't seen that before. I'll have to try that out and see how that works. This is a lot like the black handled vessel as far as the feel and everything. So appreciate it, Clint. Squeeze that blue ball grip. Made by Vessel, and the Knipix Craftsman was a rebrand. Some way said he's got a red one and a blue one. Any news on Vito? My Amazon cart's full of bags. I haven't heard anything new, but I haven't really been looking for it either. Whatever it is, it's out of my control, whatever they do with it. So I did just film a Guess the Trade before I came out here and put it up. So the Guess the Trade this week is a Vito SPMC, and then it's also a kind of like truck bed pack out, several things and pack out. I think it was like 40 something pictures. So it was supposed to be somebody else was up next, but whenever I went in there to get the pictures out, I didn't pay any attention. Whenever I downloaded them, they looked like they were fine in my email, but they are super small, like a postage stamp size whenever I open them on my computer. So then whenever you zoom in, like, you can't see anything. So I'm going to have to email him back and let him know. I predict they will come out with at least one new Surge, either M18 or M12, especially after DeWalt launched theirs. JTX Tools in here and then retracted his message. He probably said something like, "I'm better looking than you," or something like that. And then he looked at me and saw me and said, "I can't say that." I don't know what he said. Appreciate that, Clint. The DeWalt Surge is no joke. I haven't seen it in person in use or anything. And I guess I haven't even looked at maybe is it at Lowe's? I could go check it out at probably Lowe's. My Home Depot doesn't have a lot of DeWalt stuff out anymore. So many SPC loadouts, SPMC loadouts. Yeah, whenever everybody gets one for free, no matter what bag you buy, a lot of people got them. You getting a new Milwaukee dust extractor? Probably not. I've got a Festool one, so, and I don't ever use that in a situation where I don't have power, so it's not something I'm looking for in a battery tool either. I've seen the Milwaukee like bigger even shop vac. It's been on sale at my Home Depot on clearance for like a $169 or something like that. I can't remember what it was. And I even almost thought about getting it then. I'm just like, I don't need it. I'm never going to use it because my pack out vac is what I use on all my service stuff. And then if I'm on a job site, I take a corded one in because I've always got power. That black edition SPMC was looking really nice. Curious why it was released in Japan. Yeah, I don't know. I saw that too. Tools with Tim sent that to me. And I saw it on his post, but then he sent it to me in an email. Yeah, I don't know why they just released that in just Japan. That seems a little weird too. unless they don't do the spring promo or something in Japan, and then they didn't want to do the blackout version for the spring, like have it as an option so more people might buy it, spring promo, and then they'll release the blackout version next year. That's typically what Vito's always done, is they come out with the bag and then do the blackout later. Abraham said at this point I'd buy a new M12 Surge without reading the specs. Yeah, like I said, I don't know that they can do anything because it's a total different, like, you know, system than an Impact. I don't even care if you can't add more power to it or anything like that. Just if you could somehow even slim it down a little or just move it and get me more lights up there on that head, I'd just be tickled to death to get that. When we're going to see the Rigid Stealth Force. Yeah, I know Rigid has a quieter one. DeWalt does now. So they're all coming out with their versions of it. My M12 one does. I just put up today, I put up a big rack that holds rolls of paper, and I was able to get into a stud on one, and then I had to use big toggle bolts and stuff on the other side. And I used my M12 Surge, put in lags that were this long into right in the middle of a stud, no problem. So for the most part, my M12 and M18 Surge works fine for me. And then I've got that Metabo triple hammer. If I need more power, in worst case scenario, I'll stick a bit adapter on my 3/8 stubby or whatever else if I got to get some kind of lag in. Sashko people reached out thanks to Morgan's Maintenance. Yeah, I love Big Stretch and Lexel. They're two of my favorite things right now. I use them all the time. And then nothing else of theirs I've used that I don't really like either. I've used a lot of their. We used it right today on the quadplex, going in around where the porches meet the brick, the concrete porches. They've got like a product called something slab. I can't remember exactly what the name of it is or something, but it's something that it's kind of mixed with mortar. It's kind of gives you more of an appearance of mortar than just a caulk. It's got like a sand grit almost to it. I really like it. I can't remember what the name of it is. Then we could get new OEM boots for the new Surge, and my email exploded. People wanting to buy mine would be gone. How about an infrared tech pack wheeler? I like the infrared look. Like I know some people don't like it because they don't like red and black or whatever, but like if you made any of the bags in infrared, I would choose the infrared over whatever the other bag was. Like if you had options for one or the other. Louis Dax in here. He's the one in the guest of trade this Saturday. So he said he'll be on the job working. So that is the guest the trader for this Saturday. And then the answer for the, if y'all didn't go check the comment section, like it was pretty mixed on the last one, what people thought he was. So I was actually surprised really at what he was. I thought the other of the two guesses was going to be the right one. Atlas 46 has chartreuse inside their bags. That'd probably take you an extra year to get that. TPG's back. Lexi said if worse comes to worse with Vito, I'll have to jump over to Velocity. Some of their bags are very attractive. I honestly don't think I would ever need a new Vito bag again. Like, I could get by with what I've got here in my garage for sure, because I'm glad I haven't sold some of them yet, though, just in case. But, like, I only buy new bags now just because I'm curious if this one would work better for me. But I can keep using the ones I've got, and I don't feel like they're going to go get worn out or anything for a long time. Wacky likes the blackout over infrared. Yeah, several people said that because a lot of people wanted the MCTP in blackout. Like I remember that being a big comment. Ned Bundy edition bags from Velocity look good. Yeah, I've only watched a few videos, and I think his is one of them, of some Velocity bags, and they do look pretty nice. I haven't seen any of them in person though. It's always hard to tell. Like I can get an idea now that I've had veto bags. I could see a new veto bag that I haven't seen in person, and I pretty well got an idea what it's going to be. But until you see like a bag in person, you can't really, you don't know what the quality and stuff kind of feels like by looking at it on a screen. Let me ask a home gamer question. Why carry both diagonals and linemen? You can cut the same stuff with both, right? For me, it's because you can't get the cutter of the lineman in certain spots where you can get diagonals sometimes. Like if you're just working out here in the middle of nowhere, that's fine. But if you're trying to get like, or if you just want to nip something, you know, you can't hardly do that with a pair of Klein lineman cutters versus you can do that with the very front. I don't have a pair of linemans out here. Actually, I do. Yeah. Yeah. So if I want to get to something right here and cut it, you know, I can get in there and cut it versus I'd have to go in with the pliers to get to the cutter with this to cut certain stuff. Now, every now and then you can still get to it from the side and get a hold of it, but that's why for me, I don't know about anybody else, but that's why for me. Always getting new tools and toys. Ray's apartment maintenance. What's up, buddy? Nobody needs a new veto bag. My wife doesn't need a new purse either. Her closet's full of them. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was saying is I'll still get new veto bags because I just like trying out new bags and see if it's going to work better and see how it works. But my guess would be if Vito just never made another bag today, I've got enough veto bags to last me the rest of my career that they're not going to get worn out, in my opinion. But for doing the kind of work I do anyways. Yeah, that's like two on Lexi just said if you're cutting Romex all day on diagonals, it'll eat your wrist. Uh, it'll cut, but not as well as linemen's. It's the same way, kind of, which I normally don't use diagonals on MC cable. I use the actual roto splitter if I'm doing a lot of it. But if you're doing MC where you can just kind of snap it and then twist it a little bit and poke that out, it's way easier to snip that with a pair of diagonals than it is to try to get your cutter on your lineman's lined up right on that too. Sometimes I think my journeymen and masters could build a house with just linemen's and a screwdriver. You can do a lot with every tool, like that's not really meant for it. It just sometimes it's not a very enjoyable experience. You can get a lot done. That's why I tell people all the time. It's like I could get stuff done. Like I could carry a Ted Cook amount of tools if I really wanted to, and do most jobs that I do, like a multi screwdriver and a pair of Cobras and probably a pair of diagonals. I could probably get a whole lot done with just those three tools right there. Now, some jobs aren't going to be very enjoyable because it's going to be a pain to get it done with them, but you can still do it. And your quality would suffer. That's the thing about having the right tool for me is, one is more enjoyable experience because it's easier to do something with something that's intended to do what it is that you're doing. And then the second thing is your quality will suffer if you're doing stuff with stuff that you shouldn't be doing it with because it's just not meant to do that. And you're going to end up doing a shortcut of some kind or doing something like that, getting frustrated and doing something too quick. So sometimes the quality of someone's work is because of their craftsmanship, but it's also a lot of times due to having the right tool because you can only do certain quality with the right tools. I use flush cut diagonals to cut small dowels and zip ties. I can spare a Vito XL or a Tech MCT. Yeah, so I still have the Tech Pack MC. I haven't used it all. I bought that to get another free SPMC, and then I ended up giving that to my buddy I work with all the time. He saw my SPMC and was like really wanting one. I was like, well, I kind of want to get this backpack. I said, so I'm gonna go ahead and Acme had it on sale, so I went ahead and pulled the trigger and got that. And then I've got the TPLD still as a bigger-ish bag with a cover, and then the SBLD. So basically the SBLD and the TPLD are very similar, but one's got a cover and one don't. So I've got those as kind of a medium size bag in case I want to go back to that size. And then I've got the Tech MCT and the MCTP, which are pretty much the same bag, but a little bit different. So that's the ones and then the SPMC, which is what I'm mostly using right now. So I've kind of got bags in every size range up into the Tech Pack MC is the biggest, and I don't want one bigger than that one. But that way, if I've got a change in some job that I do for a long period of time and I need to carry a bigger bag or I need to carry a little bit smaller bag, you know, I got the flexibility to change around. Forge wire strippers eat MC for breakfast. Yeah, that's the main reason why I think I love them so much, because that's what I deal with the most. That's why I said people who don't like them, I'm like, I guess you might do, which I still think they're awesome for Romex too, but I can see why if you're using them as your lineman all the time, they're not really as good as, like, they're not as big up there on that front end as a pair of linemans if you're twisting wires and all that kind of stuff. But as far as just stripping wire and cutting cables, you can't beat them Forge wire strippers. Don't hand a broom to a journeyman. I haven't seen anything that you can hand a broom to and they do very much. What gets me about the Vitos is they sell bulk storage V-swaps for $45 that are just blank panels with no pockets. Am I the only fellow that finds that funny? I've actually got one of them, but I bought it for a specific reason, and because it works, but it also works in multiple of my bags, so I can use it in most of my bags. But yeah, it's kind of silly because if you just take out the panel, there's really nothing in there that's going to get tore up that bad. The only thing is you got some Velcro sticking, so it depends on what you're going to put in there. If it's something that would stick to Velcro, you wouldn't want to use it for that. But I've always thought the same thing too, Steve, that you can just, if I was just going to put my drills and impacts in there, like, I'd just take out the panel and stick my drills and impacts in there. Jason, be ready. The broke guy. I've seen the new bit set from Icon. I'm not impressed personally, but interested in what others think. I've seen the videos for it. Like, there's 2 or 3 videos out for it now. I think Last Best Tool talked about it today, but Things Men and then Tyler Tools had videos for it. I don't know that I'm going to get it, because if it at $80, because as far as I use the flex head ratchet in my bag. I actually keep it in my MP pouch. And then the rest of it to me is just sockets and a screwdriver for sockets and bits and all that kind of stuff. And I don't really need any of that. So I don't know that I'm going to buy it. If I go in Harbor Freight one day and it so happens to be there, maybe. But I'm not like dying to go get it or anything like that. What's a broom? I like the rebar linemans personally. They're nice and slim. Klein has a dustpan now for no excuse electricians. Clint said the new Icon's very disappointed, and he actually has it. So was it Clint that was telling Clint? Are you the one that told me, or somebody else emailed me? I don't think it was Clint, and said that instead of something holding a bit, it now has the socket holder on it instead. I don't remember what it was. They didn't like that. Change the battery in your clock. Yeah, I probably need to. I've noticed since I cut the second hand off, it does seem like it eats up batteries for some reason. I don't know what it is, but it is working and keeping time if I keep batteries in it. It must have quit at 4, 5, 5:05 or 5:10 today. What time? I'm looking at it in reverse. Yeah, 5:11. Sir Master of None said the TPLD is great. Yeah, see, I've not run it yet either. I bought it to get the DP3 for free, and I just bought it because I was wanting to try. I wanted to make sure I was wanting to get one with a cover in case I didn't like the SBLD, which I ended up being fine with the SBLD. But that's why I bought it. But I mostly bought it just to put back, and I was going to sell it and get the DP3 for free. But then I decided I was going to keep it. I sold my TPLC and something else instead because I like the size of it better for compared to the other stuff I've got. What's up, Quaz? Electricians drop 9-volt on floors, right, Joey? Yeah, they. So what's funny is I had 2 jobs, and the same electrician from the same company. It's not. There's a guy I call, and then he sends his guys. It's a big company, like it's a big company. Whenever I'm using them, while I was doing a bathroom remodel and putting in a wall heater, and then doing some other stuff, and then the owner of the place wanted electrician to do something else. So I called him and had him come over there and send somebody over there. So the same guy who in this job came over and changed the smoke detector batteries and just threw the old 9-volt batteries in the floor. I got up in the ceiling and found a fish tape from like a pull string from the room where the power needed to come out of that came across the hard drywall ceiling and came out to another side. And I told him that was up there. I said, well, you can use that if you want to. That way y'all aren't having to try to fish something across all that drywall. I found this over here. I'll show you where it is. Showed him where it was. Well, then he hooks onto it and pulls the string across. Doesn't pull another string with it. Doesn't pull one back. It's like that was in there for a reason. Somebody put that in there so that it was probably put in there by the network guys. So that they'd be, because right where we were was where all the network stuff was too. So basically he just pulled somebody else's string and didn't even replace it. I'm just like, what kind of crap is that? Are you going to get the SBLD blackout? Probably not. I don't mind the regular color scheme and all that Avito. I actually kind of like it. I like the blackout stuff too, though. I love the infrared stuff the best. But if I've already got a bag, the only reason why I bought the MCT in the blackout when it came out was because it had like quite a bit of extra, like the pouches on the front and all that. But if I've already got a bag, I typically won't buy one just to get a different color. If it's kind of similar, except for maybe a V-swap panel or something like that, which I don't really change out that much. So Lexi knew a guy who carried a Lyman tape, flathead, square, and Phillips, and that's it. Wacky uses his forged wire strippers 90% of the time. My only complaint's they don't have weight in the head, so then I have to get the Lymans. Yeah, you can't really use them as a hammer, that's for sure. The forged wire strippers aren't a hammer. But a Klein Lyman plier is also not a hammer. In case you didn't know that. That's what they told me while I was there. No, I hear forged wire strippers can't do 10-stranded. Never an issue for me. Yeah, that's the big thing a lot of people complain about. I missed whatever the TPG repiping done on his drains. I missed that part. I saw the $2,500. Aren't you glad you joined in? Told you it was a good time. Let's see. As far as the icon set, I was really hoping they were going to have the same ratchet, and the screwdriver handle should be a bit smaller and something similar to the Weehaw handle. Yeah, I haven't seen it in person yet. I've seen it in pictures and I've seen it in videos. So, and sometimes it's hard to, again, tell that by looking at a video. Just depends on how somebody zoomed in and all that stuff. Y'all got me in the weeds again. Backwoods Law said, "The heck you say." I'm just telling you what Klein told me. They laughed when they told me that, though, whenever I was there. Anything is a hammer if it's close and heavy enough. That's right. Just another rat. Appreciate that, plumbing. Little Debbie, also not a hammer. Over on Tools and Tactics, it said that the 9-in-1 Klein is the only nut driver you ever need. How do you feel it stacks up to the flip socket drivers? So for me, but I also don't do strut and stuff like that. Nowhere near like stuff that I used to, like in my business now. So this one has some magnetic stuff. It's also a little smaller, but me, I really like the magnetism. Like I run into needing a magnet more than I run into needing pass through. So that just depends on. The only thing about the pass through is you can do pass through and you can do the other. So it's a little more versatile, I guess. But you can also take, these out, stick them in your impact, stick them in other screwdriver handles, stick them in whatever. Whereas this is limited to, has to be in this tool right here. The only way you can use it. So it really, what it mostly comes down to is pass through. How much do you need it? Because I always feel like magnetism is the winner for me over. If I had to choose between the two, I'd rather the few times I run into needing to pass through, have to sit there and run a nut up or do whatever and have a magnet the other part of the time. I was rolling in 2 big boxes of Debbie's today. After a few, we were done. New Milwaukee fish tape's nice. I've got Milwaukee fish sticks. I've used Milwaukee fish tapes. I don't have those. I've got like a Southwire or something like that's what I've got. I bought the Milwaukee at the last place I worked, but I bought it for them. It wasn't until I bought myself. But I do like the fish sticks. But the Klein's got some fish sticks out too that are like kind of like the difference between insulated drivers where you have the bit with a lip or you have the slim bit where it kind of goes flush. Klein's got them where it's real smooth like that. That's super nice. Plumbing's got a box of oatmeal cream pies. Enough Little Debbie's will help you swing the hammer somewhat harder. Clint said Harbor Freight's got a new Pittsburgh 4-in-1 adjustable wrench. Yeah, I think I saw that on... oh, he's in here. The Sir Master of None. I think he had a post maybe about that. I'm pretty sure. I think I saw his post. I'm starting to see more people's posts for some reason. Like the people I'm subscribed to. Like there for a while, I wouldn't see any. Or maybe people are just posting more. I don't know. But I think it was him. The Sir Master of None posted about that one. Jamie Gonzalez enjoyed the Klein video. Also purchased the 15-in-1 after your video setting up my home repair kit. Yeah, it was a good time. I really liked going there. Fun fact, the only DeWalt tool I own is a 2-pound hammer because I knew they couldn't mess that up. New Klein flashlight, great upgrade. Gusty Oinker said, "Yeah, I actually saw that while I was there. I didn't know that it was released at the time. That's why I didn't say anything about it because it's kind of like the Olight arc fields and all that kind of stuff. So I used it a little bit while I was at Klein. It's only got the light and the green laser, whereas like the Arcfield Pro, you got the UV light, green laser, and a light. But I think the Klein comes in a little bit cheaper though. Isn't it like $50 or something like that? The discount rack at Kroger was empty today. Yeah, that sometimes what happens for me is I hit there, I go in earlier. Like if you get there when they first kind of open, they haven't even had time to go through it and put it out there yet. So there's a sweet spot of time when you got to hit there. But I did get lucky. I went to Meyer yesterday to get lunch, and I went over to, I was going to get some fruit. I was really wanting watermelon for some reason. And I went over to the fruit aisle, and the lady was in the fruit aisle marking all the fruit trays like 55% off. So I got like a huge fruit tray for like $5. Lexi got the small pin light from Klein. Some way, fish sticks. Man, I haven't had fish sticks in a long time. Eat the food fish sticks. I used to really like them. If that was really fish in there, was it? Do we know? Or is it like the imitation? Well, imitation crab meat, I guess, probably is some kind of fish, but it's not crab. But got in on the Woobin Kickstarter today. It's a 14500 model that will have UV. Purple pounder, not a hammer, but a mallet. Miss Maintenance said fish sticks makes me think of my childhood. Ate them with ketchup. Yummy. Is it ketchup or is it catsup? Is it Arthur Spooner says catsup is how, what is it he said? Sophisticated people call it catsup. I got a Flex Boat mud mixer that can mix clay soil, LOL. I got to tell you, man, my mud mixer from Milwaukee, it's pretty daggone stout too. I've been pretty impressed with it. I mean, it's still only 18 volt, where I'm assuming your Flex Boat, you can go up to the 60 or whatever. But I mean, it's pretty much, if I've got something that my rotary hammers won't drill or whatever, if I put a bit in that, it will straight up drill through it. Oddly enough, frozen fish sticks were the only fish I've ever eaten with no problem. I do not eat seafood as an adult, though. I don't like a lot of fish. Like, I like salmon. Salmon, that's another word. Is it salmon or salmon? I like sushi, like whatever, like tuna or whatever. If it's in the sushi form, I don't like it. I don't like it so much cooked. But other than that, if it's not like fried catfish or, fried fish of some kind, if it's not fried, I don't really care for it. Salmon and tuna steak maybe are about the only other two fish I would eat that's not fried. And I do like shrimp and all that kind of stuff. Somebody said I don't read his Makita post, so I missed the setup. I saw the purple pounder, but I didn't see whatever. Yeah, I missed whatever you said before the purple pounder. I'm surprised I still haven't seen more videos about Klein Visit from more creators. So I did finally see one. It's the Diaberti or DeBerti. He does like him and his dad do like mechanical, like car stuff and stuff like that. And he does some other stuff. I saw a video of his that they put up. It was about a week ago. I think it's entitled something about me and my dad snuck into a tool company or something like that. But it was pretty good. It was actually really good. But they're a lot better. They're a lot better film people than what I am. You know, they're a lot. You can tell by watching their videos. They're better editors and all that kind of stuff. So it's pretty good. Cat soup. When your cat's in a tree, that's catsup. Let's see. It's pronounced catch soup, is what Kearney Creek Farm said. Did you buy anything for Prime Week? I got some casters just in case I put them on this free filing cabinet that I got, because they were a little bit cheaper. I'd been washing them for a while and they were on sale for, I didn't save a ton on that. I bought a little pouch. I was thinking about making a video, but I don't think I really got enough stuff to make a tool haul video because I didn't buy that much stuff. Most of the stuff I bought was just like stuff I normally use even outside of work that I just buy all the time. But I can't think of anything else. I bought the coil cannon that I just did a video for. It wasn't on sale, I don't think, for Prime though. I just so happened to buy one. Can't think of anything else. I know I got some other stuff, I think. But I didn't really find a whole lot. Like usually as soon as Prime Day starts, I open up all my wish lists. Like I've got several lists going of tools and all kinds of stuff, and I just scroll down through there and see if they put any of them on sale. And I check that. I check it a lot more often, like whenever Prime Week's going on, because sometimes stuff becomes a deal a little bit later. But I just didn't really see anything really crazy in the tool world. I don't know if there was other stuff besides tools that were on sale for crazy cheap. You can use a mud mixer for concrete. Yeah, I mix up bags of concrete in a bucket all the time using my mud mixer. He has a discovery show making custom trucks, so he's not only just on YouTube, he's on network stuff too. I didn't know that. But yeah, I could tell watching his video. I'm like, yeah, he's definitely a lot better at making videos than me. And even because what's crazy is too, like whenever I was following him and his dad around, they were around me quite a bit. I think at the very end, you could even see me in the background of one of theirs. Like I was watching them taking their clips and stuff like that. And in all honesty, whenever I actually came home, I didn't say it to anybody, but I was like, watching them and how they made their clips, I don't know how they're going to really even make a video out of that. And then I go watch their video and I'm like, man, that is freaking amazing for what I saw them do. But again, you can tell that they do it like they're good at it. Like I said, I'm a contractor who attempts to make some tool videos and stuff like that. So I'm not a professional videographer or anything like that. So like I said, whenever I saw their video, I was like, man, that is really good because they were one of the ones whenever I was watching them, I was like, there's a few of them where I was like, I didn't see them get very much, like I didn't see them recording a whole lot. And I was like, I don't see how they're going to make very much out of this. They've got work at SEMA some years, good folks. Yeah, they were really funny. Like both of them are pretty funny. Steve Gale got a Kai-Week clamp meter for Prime Day. Easy on my weak eyes. Are they gaining in respect? Again, home gainer, so 6,000 count is fine. Everything I've used from Kai-Weeks has been pretty decent, especially for the price. Like I said, it's the feel of them, but most meters, in all honesty, don't feel very like robust or anything. There's not very many meters I've held in my hand and I'm like, oh, this thing weighs like a brick, and it makes you feel like it's something like crazy awesome or something like that. So I've got a few of their meters. I've got one of them that's a regular style multimeter, and then I got the one that looks like a phone type thing. I don't use them that often just because I don't carry them, but they work fine. Like, I didn't have any problem with them giving me bad readings or anything like that. So is the Franklin level only good for indoors? It will. You can see it, which you can use the bubble all the time. You can still see it outside if you probably can't be super far away from it, but you can kind of, it shows up a little better than what it showed up in my video. We don't have a Kroger in Chattanooga. Yeah, we just went through, we go through Chattanooga every now and then. We just went through there not too long ago, right after. I mean, we got there pretty fast. Miss Maintenance sped right through Georgia to get to there on our way home. I'm saying that as a joke, but I don't know. We've only stopped in Chattanooga. Like, I haven't been around like the bulk of the town. We went to like the Rock City and, you know, all that kind of stuff like that. And there's what's the name of the Ruby Falls? Yeah. I was actually I did a job just the other day. It was like 3 or 4 townhouses together beside each other in the town I normally work, like in the town I work in all the time. I rebuilt a toilet tank, changed a 3-way switch, GFCI, and then fixed a faucet that was dripping. But his next door neighbor had one of those bird houses that said Sea Rock City on it. Steve splurged on some CC tools, the chainsaw, and the portable miter, Sleeper brand. Yeah, they asked me about sending me the portable miter saw at one time to try out, but I didn't mess with having them send it to me because I didn't really need it. And there was something else about it that I don't remember. Maybe it wasn't no, I think it was a slider. There was something about it I didn't dual bevel. I don't remember what it was. What's the best headlamp when working in tight spots that has a movable light head and is rechargeable? Don Mendenhall asked. I don't really use headlamps. I throw flashlights on my hat, which sometimes your hat's not good for a tight spot. So I use the Olight. I've got 2 of them that I use whenever I'm sanding drywall. One's a Woobin and one's a Olight that I do wear as a headlamp. And they both work pretty well, but they're not really crazy movable. I mean, they are, like, you can tilt them a little bit, but they're not like, I wouldn't call it like the best probably. Appreciate that, Wacky and Matt, on the content being plenty good. I don't have the time to make it any better if I wanted to learn. I must be pretty far in the weeds. Yeah, I am. So I'm gonna scroll. I'm on catch up still. Looks like it's been buried in the pit for years. Well worn. Watch his video on it. Can't compare yourself to those that's been doing it longer. You got the Work Pro Cobras. I didn't buy any of them besides that small one. Lexi's talking about Woobin and Olight on the headlamps. I'll grab the 2 I've got real fast because they're pretty easy for me to get to. I like the Woobin one better just because you can use it as a flashlight and just take it off and not even use it as a headlamp if you want to. Remember what drawer they're in. So this one's the Olight. I think it's the Array 2. So you can see, you know, it swivels like this. and it's plenty bright for what I use it for. And you can also do, like, it's got a red light, but you can also I think it's controllable by your hand, which is good and bad. Like, because I sand drywall with mine, so I actually don't like that feature. I'd rather not have it where it changes, because my hand's always out in front of me doing this. And then the Woobin one's one I use, which also turns like this very easy. But the nice thing about this one is, you know, you can just use this as a flashlight or whatever too, anytime you want to, and then change it over to the headlamp if you want to. And this one's pretty cheap. It doesn't cost a lot. And this one's pretty bright too. It's the E7, but basically you can buy it where you get everything, or you can buy the light and then buy the headlamp strap and all that kind of stuff. Those are the two I keep in my truck. But I don't ever get them out and wear them really, other than sanding drywall. Don't talk about Georgia, Miss Maintenance said. Keeps getting to the road and wanders off, somebody said. I know it. I thought that whenever I was walking out there to get those. Only state I was stopped in is Georgia, and it was fully marked U.S. Army military police vehicle at the time. That was funny. Yeah, Miss Maintenance, not only do you get a speeding ticket in Georgia, but if you're going super fast, you get a super speeder ticket on top of it. Matt likes the wave to activate feature on headlamps. Yeah, like I said, it would be great, like, to change lights and stuff, except for how I use them. My hands are always sitting here doing this with me looking at it, and then it sits there and changes on me. You got good lighting and a good mic. The only other thing you need is good content. You're fine. Appreciate that. Do you have the handle for the Woobin? No. I know they sell like a battery extender for that E7 or something that makes it a longer flashlight. I don't know if that's what you're talking about. I don't have it though. When are you going to review the Icon 1/4-inch ratchet set everybody's talking about? I probably won't get one, Renee, because I've already got the flex head ratchet, and I don't really need the sockets bits or the screwdriver that holds the socket. So if I go in there and I see it and I'm just like, oh, that's nice, I might would get one just to more so look at it and look at it with you guys, but I don't need it for sure, especially with some of the stuff I got coming. I appreciate you always answering my goofy questions. Getting pulled over by the one gay cop in Georgia. Speed limit's just a suggestion in Florida. Yeah, you don't get pulled over that much in Kentucky either. But man, Georgia, if you speed in Georgia, you're on the interstate, you're getting pulled over. That's how that must be how they fund the whole state. I don't know. They're all over the place, everywhere you look. Killtronics had a high-speed chase go past him yesterday because I was working on the access door at the sheriff's office. Might have been Miss Maintenance. What do you use as the torque settings on your Vera torque screwdriver for switches and plugs? So it varies depending upon the switches and plugs. Like I mostly use the same switches and plugs all the time, so I don't have to look it up. So you got to kind of look in the packaging, but it's usually somewhere between 14 and 16 inch-pounds or something like that. That's what it is on the Leviton, or is it Leviton? We're using all kinds of words tonight that people say multiple different ways. That's what it is on mine. And then it's the same way with breakers. Certain breaker brands are different, even on the, like, even if you're using a 20 amp on one brand versus another, they say certain stuff. It's usually in the packaging. It's very hard to actually find it online. You would think that they'd make it easier to find those things since they supposedly are required and all that kind of stuff. But they're not very easy to search them online. But Leviton did finally start putting it in their little manual. I'm trying to think if I've got a box of a, let me look and see. I might have a receptacle box with one in it. See what it says. I want to say it says like 14 to 18 or something like that. Probably on one of these. Yeah, see, it's got stuff written on the inside of this box. I'm probably going to need a GFCI, and I don't think I got one of those in there. Those are the ones that normally sometimes will have a piece of paperwork with them. Don't say, don't see. I know I just had one the other day. I think it was a GFCI plug though. But I ended up looking up the Leviton. That's what I looked them up online. Actually, I think the regular switches and plugs, see, they don't say it anywhere in the packaging. But I looked them up online. It's like 14 to 16. The GFCIs are the ones where the paperwork actually says what they are. And those don't have. Yeah, they're super hard to find sometimes. I actually make, as I find them, like whenever I'm doing something, I've got a, in my notes app on my phone, I've got a torque settings for electrical devices. And I just, every time I go find one, because sometimes it's a pain, I go ahead and put them in there. That way I don't have to look them up again. But it's somewhere in that range, like 14 to 18. Just depends on the brand. Miss Maintenance gets some heat in Georgia. The extender is what you meant. Yeah, I didn't get it with it. Woobin actually sent me that. I didn't buy it. And they didn't send me the extender. Twist the screw until it's tight. That's how 99% of people. How much do you love those deep organizers? They're so good. Yeah, they are. Especially like if you're going to set one up, well, like that one, I've got plug switches. I already put it back up, but the plug switches, face plates. So anytime I'm going to do, I keep some of these, like I've got a small amount of these in my pack out drawers in my truck. But yeah, a whole box of like switches and receptacles, like height wise, you just stick them right in there. Face plates, like perfectly fit in there. Yeah, so whenever I'm doing like quite a few, or this is where I refill my truck from and stuff like that too. But if I'm going to do a bigger job, I just come in here and grab this whole thing and stick it in my truck. But yeah, the deep ones are really nice, and especially like if you're going to put tools and stuff in them, there's just quite a bit more room. I still use a lot of the other ones too, though. Never getting out of the weeds. Actually, I'm getting close. I just saw my finger, the thing stopped. If my wife and I need to go somewhere quick, she drives. If we want to get there safely, I drive. Miss Maintenance will say that's not the case for me, but that's true. It's a pain to find them. If I could share, yeah, like I said, I've got a notes app where I add them. So I know I've got a lot of Square D breakers and most of the Leviton stuff, stuff like that. So I'll see if I can somehow copy and paste it out and do something. My wife won't let me drive. She says she's not Miss Daisy. Yeah, Miss Maintenance drives us most of the time, but that's because we go in her car instead of, I'm not going to drive my truck everywhere we go for gas, or just because I'm saving it. I want all my miles to pack my tools around to mean something. What do I think of the something? Sir, Master of None. Retracted. Still waiting for me to cam out my truck and get some scoot. I need to probably put new, it's probably about time for me to put new spark plugs and stuff in mine. I just changed all the brake pads on it a few weeks ago, but it's probably about the right mileage to probably change my spark plugs again. What do I think of the newer Vampire Pythons? I don't guess I've seen them yet. I'll have to look them up. Vampire Pythons. I need to write that down so I don't forget. Vampire Pythons. Where's all my pens and pencils at? I'll write that real fast. Vampire. So what kind of plier are they? Are they like a vampire version of a cobra, I guess? Is that why they're calling them pythons? Can't mix those miles up, get them back in the tax season. Yeah, I just got my workers' comp and my general liability. All that stuff's due in August because that's when I started my business however many years ago. I just got my bills in for those. Any hopes for the pipeline? That's what I was thinking of earlier. There's really nothing that I'm just like, other than like a new surge or new installation driver, just because those are two tools I use a lot and mine are getting up there in age. There's nothing really that like I'm missing that I'm like, oh, I hope somebody comes out with one of these. I did get to hold the new rear handle saw from Milwaukee in the store the other day, but it doesn't have a battery in it, so it's very hard for me to kind of get a feel for it. And I don't know that I'll spend the money on it either, just because it's not something I need. But if it was like crazy lighter, I could easily sell mine and then buy another one. But I can't. It's hard for me to tell because there's no battery in it. So it feels super light, but then mine feels light without a battery in it too. The day will come when Joey reaches for a pen after and pencils too, and they turn out to be screwdrivers, like some handy episode of the Twilight Zone. I need to make me a pencil drawer out of one of these drawers. I normally just put them in coffee cups and all that stuff back there. My business insurance is due the 30th of this month. Yeah, so I have to carry general liability, and then I also carry workers' comp, even though my business is just me. So like, it really does me zero good to have workers' comp. But the way it works in Kentucky is like, if I go work for, like, if I work as a subcontractor for somebody on a job, they either I have to have workers' comp or they have to carry it on me. So most of those companies won't hire somebody as a subcontractor unless they have workers' comp, because if not, then they gotta pay the workers' comp on that job for that person. So they just say basically you need to have it because they're not going to pay for it. So my workers' comp actually costs more than my other insurance, and like I said, it does me zero good. They are the engineers and Knippick's twin grip babies of vampires. So, like vampire or like twin grips, not like cobras, but like twin grips. Killtronics insurance went up. I think mine actually went down like $30 or something like that. Both my workers' comp and my other went down. Milwaukee could come out with an M12 trim router. I might ditch the M18 entirely. Yeah, that wouldn't be bad. I've got the M18. I like it. I mostly use it for routing hinges and stuff like that in doors. I don't do a lot of like actual like router like work, like other than to maybe ease an edge or something like that. But 9 times out of 10, whenever I use it, it's on a door for something. Sir Master None went to boot camp in Georgia. Matt's got Clint looking at knee pros, and then Sir Master None's got him looking at vampires. That's what I always say about the, like, I like the chat and there, or the even the comment section of the videos, because you get a lot of ideas for stuff. Like I said, there's tons of tools out there that I would have never known existed had I not started watching YouTube, just because there's very few tools in my area, like stores, period, that carry tools. And then the ones that do, they just carry the normal stuff. So if you don't know what you're searching for, like what you're missing out on, then you don't know what's out there. Ivan the Great said, I'm very good reader at reading the comments from the chat. Yeah, that's the whole reason why I do that is because like I know whenever I watch stuff like this on my phone or on my TV, I can't pull the chat back up. Now, used to, if you rewatch this later from a computer, you could still watch the chat like as it was going on. Like you could have it going on the side. I don't know if they still do that or not. I haven't done it in a long time, so I don't know. But that's the reason why I read them out loud, just because I know there's somebody's going to watch this, you know, a day later or something or other, and it's not going to make any sense. I've always said it's kind of like the reporters. You can't hear the questions that they ask, like an athlete up there at a post-game conference, and they give an answer, and you're like, I have no idea what they asked him. So, do you have jokers, and do you use them? I've only got the one that Mike Bergson sent me, and I've got it in my like plumbing bag because it works out good to fit on compression stuff. But I don't use it like all the time. For my grab, just because you're limited. And I've got the one he sent me is like one of those adjustable head ones. I think they call all their wrenches jokers or whatever. But I don't put them in my bag because it's like a limited size thing. I prefer to have like the, you know, pipe wrench or whatever, just because then I'm not limited and it's taking up less space. Lexi said they're gimmicky. Yeah, it's a specific use thing to me. Like if you did a certain job and that thing fit it and you did it very often, it's worth buying whatever that one size of that thing is. But as far as for an overall set of pliers, I'd rather just get a pliers wrench, like what Wacky said. Tuesday's chat didn't show up after the fact. Yeah, I always thought it was crazy that YouTube doesn't have the option for you to be able to I mean, that's a big part of a live stream is reading the chat. So it's like seems like after the live was over, they'd make it available for you to be able to look at that. Ivan's got himself a custom set of 12-inch Cobras with a welded flat surface for metal bending. The live comment section appears after a few days. I guess it takes a while to process it. Yeah, it might, because that's like whenever I get done with the live and hit end, it will say something like the screen's like a rainbow wheel, type thing. Even though you can go and watch it like at that point, but it's always saying like finalizing or processing. Maybe they're like it's got to upload or do something. I don't know. So maybe that makes sense. What is one tool that's got stolen from you? I honestly don't know if I've ever had a tool stolen purposely, anyways. Like somebody might have borrowed something and didn't get it back, but I don't think I've had anything like stolen from me, which I'm real about locking up everything and keeping my stuff close to me whenever I'm working, and all the people I work around. Like I'm pretty selective as far as the people that I let on my jobs and stuff too. Like it's the same people almost on every job. So, and I don't work in an area where stuff like that happens much either. Back when I worked around people more, I used to have Harbor Freight tools on top. People would take those. Lexi had a drill and sawzall stolen from the boss's van. He didn't lock his door. Killtronics had $3,000 worth of tools stolen 10 years ago out of the van in his driveway. The van gets parked under cameras now. Yeah, so we did have it wasn't mine, but the company that I worked for at one time, we had a tool trailer that got broke into, and they took all the stuff out of it on a job site, which I would never, even if I don't care if I had air tags, cameras, all that stuff. It's like I wouldn't leave a tool trailer set up like a tool trailer, like all the stuff in it and all that kind of stuff. Like I would never leave that on a job site and like leave it and I go home an hour away or whatever. Just no way. I didn't. I feel sorry for the person who he catches stealing his tools. The wrath, Miss Maintenance said. Yeah, there probably wouldn't be much make me madder. Because the thing of it is, I've always said this about anybody that steals from me. It's like, man, if you'd have just asked me for it, I'd have probably gave it to you. It's like, but you stealing it from me is a different thing. Lexi was working at a convenience store last month that got robbed while she was in there. Yeah, I say I've never had that happen to me either. Like I've never had something real crazy go on in a store while I was there, like that kind of stuff. Like I've had people act weird in a store around me, but nothing like like somebody needs to call the cops type thing going on around me. Some ways had several bundles of Makita cordless tools and accessories, as well as fully loaded tool belts and other stuff. Go for a walk. TPG's had a laser jet printer stolen out of his truck. Yeah, there's not a lot of that goes on. Well, there's not a lot that goes. There's a lot of it, I'm sure, goes on in the town I work in, but not in the areas I work in. Just looked on the Lutron site for the dimmer switch I need to install. It says tighten to 5 inch-pounds. That seems like a low setting. Yeah. Most of the dimmer switches that I put in already have wires just coming out of them these days. I haven't had very many where I actually got to put the wires on the switch itself. But yeah, it doesn't seem like very much. So Al said the Stealth Force was pushed back till next year. Somebody asked earlier. Appreciate that, Denny. I don't remember who it was that asked, but I do remember somebody asking. None of the contractors around leaves a tool trailer on site. We had a rash of tool trailers broken into or taken a few years ago. A big company that builds homes had 3 of their trailers stolen. Yeah, see, I would never leave mine that way. I wouldn't even leave a trailer that was empty somewhere, just to be honest with you, even if I've got the hitch lock on it and all that stuff. But I'm real, like, even though I know nobody's going to break in it, like I was at a house the other day doing something, a super nice neighborhood, crazy big houses, like spaced out pretty far, like even the neighbor's really far away. And even then, if I'm in the drive, if I go out to my truck to get something, I get something out, I will go ahead and still get it out, lock my truck back, shut the doors to go in to do whatever it was, even though I know nobody's going to be over there to get into it. But it's just a habit that I make sure that I know that if I go slack on it in places where I don't think something's going to happen, then I'm going to end up slacking on it someplace where something would happen. And then that's when you'll end up getting some stuff missing. The worst thing is if you just leave something out somewhere and then it's missing, and then you start thinking, did I leave it up in a ceiling somewhere? And you start thinking that you left it somewhere, did whatever, but really somebody stole it if you left it sitting on the back of your truck or something like that. Kearney Creek Farm almost got robbed by a compliance officer for not having my JW card displayed. I'd be mad if my Badgers or OCL took a walk. It's just like I think about like my Vito bag. Like you start adding up like the pairs of pliers, you start looking at the prices on those. It's not only is that bag expensive, but you've got $1,000 probably in a Vito bag or something like that by the time you add up certain things. Depends on how yours is loaded out type thing. That's like right now my MCTP. I mean, it's got my ET450, thermal imaging camera, all those pliers and stuff, and then the bag's expensive on top of that. It's like, so that's why those things never leave my side. Like if I'm working, I move it along with me wherever I'm working at. Like I don't go into a commercial space and doing like electrical work on this receptacle and the panels back here in a room. I don't like leave my bag sitting there while I go back there and even get in the panel, just because you never know. Somebody could grab it and walk off with it. How often do you use that DeWalt sucker grabber tool? I've only used it like twice so far, but I don't run into situations where I need that kind of stuff very often. I've also not been doing, I've mostly been doing service work and then final stuff on that quadplex building, which is never anything big. I haven't, since I bought it, I haven't really been carrying a lot of sheet goods. I'm going to be trying it out for sure on whenever I'm reworking my garage here with all that sheet panels and stuff like that, like the zip sheeting and all that stuff. So I'll be trying it on that. Plumbing's had some pliers taken from him. Abraham's father-in-law got home, unloaded tools, and left the garage door open. I checked the camera because it'd been a while. Turns out he needed the bathroom. Matt H&M said he put a crackhead bar across their van doors at night, or it would be gone for a minute. Robert Zellman said nothing worse than a thief. Yeah. And it's like I said, what irritates me the most is it's like It really irritated me back a long time ago when people were tearing apart people's air conditioners and stuff like that to get the copper and all that kind of stuff out of it. And I'm like, you know how much that costs somebody to get a new air conditioner and how much money you made off that copper? It's like, if you'd have just went to some certain person and said, "Hey, I'm in bad luck here. Can you help me out or whatever?" Somebody, it's like you don't have to go tear apart somebody else's equipment and making them not have air conditioner and then have to spend a big bunch of money to redo their air conditioner. It's the same thing with like tools. It's like it's not just the replacement of the tool. It's the now I got to take time away of working to make money to be able to go pick up my new tools and to do all that kind of stuff. It's just all for somebody to make very little. It's the headache of it all, like more than anything. When I checked, the dude was helping himself. So this is the same garage story continued. When I checked, the dude was helping himself to the tools. I ran out with my Freedom seed planter and chased him down, but he crossed the road and had a good clear. But I remembered it was a school zone. Kearney Creek Farm says sometimes he finds free tools up in acoustic ceilings. Free tools are in the ceiling. Yeah, I found screwdrivers. Every now and then you'll even be in a house with blown in insulation and you'll be moving stuff around to try to find a junction box or something like that, and you'll find something laying in there where somebody dropped it and it was gone, you know. Wacky said his bag's at least 2K. It's not about the money. It's something I love I love, you know, tools are my thing. It's that weird. Is that weird? Isn't that why we're all here? Yeah, it's like it's almost like you're taking like family or something like that from me if you stole it from me. And it's like I said, to me, it's the headache of it. It's like for what someone could take my tools for and then go sell them to somebody, but yet I've got to turn around and go buy them all new again. And then, like I said, spend the time to do all that to figure out what it is I'm missing, what is it that I need. That's time away from working on top of the fact that you're out money and everything else. I feel like that'd be good to grab sheet metal. Only problem is all that grease. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if that'd be a problem or not. It probably eventually would be. It definitely would be for clean stuff. It grabs. There's quite a bit of stuff that it grabs. It's pretty nice. I've got regular suction cups, like the pump up kind. I've had those for like. There's been some times where I've had to take out glass out of storefront, or move a small piece of glass or something like that. So I've always had some of those, but that's definitely a little bit. It definitely grabs a hold of more stuff than just glass. German Camargo, hey Morgan, just cleaned out my HVAC evaporator coil. Any recommendation on tools or solutions for the air ducts? I've only paid somebody to clean duct work for me before, not at my own house, but like at the campus I work for. We didn't have the equipment to do it, so we just paid somebody. So I'm sure they've got all kinds of stuff out there now, though, because there's a lot of people that just do that as a little side business and stuff like that. I'm sure they got like almost kind of like how plumbers have drain snakes. I'm sure they got something that you can feed in ductwork that beats all that stuff out. But you got to have a decent vacuum. I'm sure, but I don't personally know of anything. The van thief shut you down for 3 days. Yeah, and then it's like, and then what if you were like new customer that you had to cancel the job and then you no longer get work from them like ever again? It's like I said, there's just tons of stuff that snowballs and they get very little out of the stuff that they steal. Like they'll sell it for nothing. Steve's wood shop had a ladder stolen while I was tuck pointing a chimney on a third-story brownstone in the St. Louis years ago. I heard them lowering the ladder and hollering at them. So you were still on the roof and they took your ladder. That's pretty crazy right there. I mean, that's pretty ballsy too. Like, hey, the guy's up there. Let's just take his ladder. I mean, what's he gonna do? He can't come down and get us. I haven't had his Leatherman stolen. Most of the thieves in this area are drug related. Yeah, I think that's the case with if there is anything that goes on in my area, that's what it is too. And see, they're just grabbing anything they can, don't care what it's worth or whatever. So that's what I'm saying. It's they end up selling it for nothing. Matt said he'll take some extra forged wire strippers and some insulation. I don't know if I'm hearing thunder or not. I don't know if it's supposed to rain tonight or not. Lockhammer used to do locksmith night calls in bad areas. 80s guy slid my van door open while I was 3 cars down. He found my German Shepherd. Steve was stuck on the roof for an hour. Miss Maintenance said I'd rather have somebody kidnap her than somebody steal my tools. Now that's not true. Although if somebody kidnapped you, it would give me a good excuse to use some of my tools whenever I found them. And you know what I'd do to them. I've told you what I'd do to them. You won't really remember everything, so it's natural you're going to miss things. Yeah, that's part of it too. Like if you got like, especially like Kiltronics getting his whole van stolen, that's like for me to actually, I know what's in my truck right now if I'm looking for it. Like if I know like, hey, I need this, I know where it is in my truck, but I only know that whenever I need it. But like if I had to just tell you everything that's in my truck right now, like I wouldn't be able to, I'd miss something. There'd be something inevitably. I mean, I could probably get most of it, but there's some stuff in there I wouldn't remember. Hide all the thieves in the crawl space with the misses. Good thing, Quaz, we have pictures and records on guest of trades and email of our loadouts and pages. Well, that's another thing is too. I do better at like I've got receipts for everything now that I'm running my business. I didn't really necessarily. I kept receipts for certain tools that were like something I thought, hey, you might would want to warranty that later if it was expensive. But like all my hand tools and stuff before I ran my own business, I didn't really keep receipts for them or anything like that because I'm not going to mess with the warranty on a $30 pair of pliers. But now I have to because I have to keep up with all of it for taxes and all that stuff. So I've got receipts for everything now. Worst thing's leaving something behind, and that's a bummer. I've done that so much. Yeah, I do. It's getting worse. I don't know if it's because I'm getting older, but like what ends up happening whenever I leave something, it's always because the customer starts talking to me whenever I'm leaving. And then we sit there and talk for like 5 or 10 minutes or something because then I'll set something down and then I start talking and we start talking about whatever. And then I'll walk off. Like I've left my little giant ladder, the one I love so much. I've left it at like 2 or 3 places. And like I've got all the way home and then been like, and it even clicked with me before I like went to go use it the next time, like, oh, where's my ladder? Like it clicked with me on my way home and I turned around, drove all the way back because I'm like, I'm not even leaving that there for a day. Like I'm going to get it. And Lexi even said the same thing. Don't talk to me when I'm cleaning up and putting my tools away. Yeah, I'm exactly the same, Lexi. Like if somebody, that's the only time I end up missing stuff is if something happens in my process of me cleaning up and putting stuff in my truck, if there's somebody that starts talking to me, whatever, something happens in my brain where I end up forgetting something. Kearney Creek Farm, that's why I love tool organization. You can tell when something's missing when you're packing up to leave. Yeah, I purposely pouches and bags, same thing goes in the same spot every single time. I do a visual check every time when I'm walking out the door. I open my bag and look and see. And that's really why I fill up every pouch in every hole in my Vito bag most of the time, even if it's a tool that I might not use that often and it makes my bag just a little heavier. I don't like seeing an empty spot because then it makes me think I'm missing something, and I've got certain spots for everything. I always pat my pockets at least 10 times a minute: wallet, keys, phone, smokes. Yeah, I do in the morning, and I even left my wallet at home today, but I know why I did. It was because, again, something changed in my normal routine, but I do the same thing. I'll sit there and pat I'm like wallet, keys, watch, phone. That's the things I look for. Would rather lose my tools than my German Shepherd. Use the purple thruster on the piece. Yeah, I would. That's definitely not the worst thing, Clint. They might would, compared to what else I've said I'd do. That would be enjoyable. When I have a helper doing something, I have to really try to remember what they use so I can get it back. Yeah, I can see that being hard. See, I don't have to deal with that. That's another thing about. That's why I don't like sharing tools. It's not so much that I care about somebody using my tools, but that's a big part in why I don't like letting other people use my tools and stuff on site, because that's how something like somebody comes to get something which in my bag, again, I would notice and I'd be like, well, where's this at? Somebody must have came, got it, all that kind of stuff. But it's like you let somebody get something out of your truck and you didn't know they got it out of your truck, and then you're not looking to put it back up, at the end of the day or whatever. That's how stuff could definitely easily go missing. That's why I don't get the Appeal Now blackout bags or stuff like the compact Makitas that are all black. I don't need help missing something that fell into the grass or got left up on the ladder. Would you use your super slick stuff as a courtesy or bone dry? If it's a thief or a kidnapper, it's bone dry some way. No super slick stuff. That stuff's expensive. That only gets used for the good stuff. Well, it's a little after 8. I'm gonna get off here and get out of the 8 down to 84. It's dropped 7 degrees since I've been out here. But I'm gonna get off here. There's something I need. Oh, I got to go in there and write some checks for my insurance and get those mailed off. I'm gonna do it now because I'll forget if I don't do it later. Next thing you know, I won't have insurance. So that's what I was gonna do. I've got that sitting out on the bar for me to do when I get in there. So the Nohlster stuff, Morgan's 20 will be a discount code on the 23rd, which is Wednesday next week, whenever the subcompact stuff comes out. But I'll make a post about that. I had several people asking about it. So rain is coming, Miss Maintenance said. I can hear thunder, so it must be. But I'm going to get off here. We'll see y'all on Saturday looking at Louis Dax Vito SPMC and his truck loadout. And then I've got a few things. I've got one tool sitting over here that I can do a review for once I finally have the time to. And then I've got something supposed to be coming in the mail that I'm pretty excited about. So we'll see. But we'll see y'all on the next one. Walk of shame.